Drop shot versus jump shot, which one's better? This is an age-old question that goes back more than an entire decade's worth of Call of Duty games, with the debate heating up and causing many gates and splits in the community. I went into 10 action-packed games of dirty old houseboat, shipment, shoothouse and rust to try out both the forms of movement slash strafing and see which one can avoid bullets better, but also not hinder your ability to aim and shoot properly. First off, I put aside 5 action-packed matches with tons of firefights, no matter where you are, to see which one comes out on top as the best form of dodging bullets. To make sure that everything was absolutely fair, I spent about 15 minutes warming up before playing both times against some veteran bots. These are some of the best multi-kills, headshots, etc. I had against the enemy team throughout the matches. As you can see, I was being incredibly sweaty with the Ram 7 assault rifle. I was leveling up to get gold after my previous Is Damascus Worth It video. Watch that video if you haven't already for some Damascus HDR and Fennec gameplay and me talking about it. Back to this video's topic, I was dodging bullets left and right, and yet there was one looming problem. I was shooting their feet more than anything. And as we know, limbs and appendages take much less damage than if you were to shoot someone in the torso, upper chest and quite obviously headshots. There are 3 huge problems with drop shotting. The first one I just talked about. You will hit their legs and groin more than anything unless you can incorporate even more actions so it's already hard to learn maneuver. If you don't get what I'm talking about, is that you need to learn to hold down on your crouch button, move your aiming stick up, and then look right at their chest or head and then start firing. There will not be much recoil if you use the guns I recommend for this. The second problem, that if the enemy can adjust their aim in time and look at you on the floor, drop shotting them quick enough and pull the trigger, you're nothing but toast. Chances are that they are already staring right into the top of your noggin with their guns' iron sights. Although this may happen around once or twice in a match, especially if the decent player, the only hits you should be worried about are taking hits while you let your body float down to the ground. Now the most common thing that will happen is that a bullet or two will find you, but you'll come out fine on the other end, especially if the blue quick fix perk and or medical stimulants, STIMs for short. The best way to rectify this issue is to be much faster. Changing your crouch / prone button to R3 to aim and prone at the same time will help immensely with your tries to get good at this movement. Some weapons I recommend in general are fast firing and mobile setups, as you probably won't be drop shotting someone across the map in big maps like Krasna Raid, but rather in shipment, rush shoothouse, and select engagements in Warzone. Yet not everything is good about drop shotting though. A caveat I must warn you of is that you must never drop shot in very tight spaces like inside the containers in shipment. This will limit your movement and bring the words prone block to your screen, not allowing you to keep moving your aim into that direction. In these cases, it is best to just stand and shoot normally and muster up your best aim. All in all, drop shotting is an incredible way to dodge bullets in close medium range encounters, typically 5 to 35 meters at the most. Now on to the other topic, jump shotting. Many people subconsciously use this technique. I used to be one of those people because it doesn't take long to learn, it's fairly easy to do. This may be easier to perform and quicker than the drop shot, but in my case at least I found it much harder to aim and shoot while jumping and moving, instead of laying prone in one spot, only moving the right stick in the direction they're going to, and that was much easier than jump shot, which requires you to keep moving the stick to compensate for your vertical and quite often horizontal movement. While this can be used to hard swing around a corner very effectively, some people like me who play on a high sensitivity will often overcompensate for the amount of movement you're doing. Many of the clips I didn't include were 2 to 3 kills, then I proceeded to die and barely missed that quad feed, which would have been great here. I was dodging a decent number of bullets while doing this, yet I missed twice as many. This was obviously very frustrating and I wanted to quit midway through and say that drop shot was better. But that wouldn't make for a good video now. Eventually my jump shotting and strafing aim are much better and I was killing much faster. Jump shotting doesn't restrict you to keep shooting at just their feet. Rather, you keep getting more and more headshots as you're elevated, and if you manage to stay centered and shoot decent, you will win against normal and other drop shotters, as they'll be stuck looking at the mud on the sole of your boots as you fly off and show them how to win gunfights. The best guns that work with this are medium to high fire rate and high damage weapons. Some good examples are the AK and the FAL. If you have a half decent trigger finger, side tip, you can move your shoot button to the bumper, R1/RB to shoot with the FAL, a million times faster. Onto my direct comparison section. I have some pros here between the two. One little thing I had with the jump shot was that I would often mantle up to objects while I was trying to shoot, and that lead to my death a couple times. Drop shots are tight spaces does not really work. Sort of need to be in an open and also shooting at someone at the same time. While the jump shot can be utilized anywhere if the enemy is staring at you, the jump shot is much harder to master, but if done correctly can be used to swing around a corner, tip the 50 versus 50 in your favor, anything that involves moving even a little bit. Now this is all great, and now I'm going to talk about something different that many people wouldn't even think of while doing this. Hip firing. Many people will always aim down sights and keep shooting and not even consider hip firing. That's honestly a bad strategy if you use weapons such as the Grau with heavy barrels or LMGs in general. These weapons are very clunky and difficult to use, and they're not very mobile as opposed to an optimized AR or a proper SMG. Now jump shotting will make your hipfire spread much wider than if you were to hipfire normally, which may or may not be useful. Now in one of the cases, when I normally cross the end containers in shipment, there's always one enemy who's looking at the right at the container to stop any intruders from coming in, while the other ones are shooting my teammates at the other end. Now, you will obviously want to go for the person who's shooting you first, right? But instead, when the hipfire spread is much wider, you'll often end up shooting the other people and alerting them instead of shooting the one who's looking at you, then taking the other ones out quickly. This may sound specific, but it happens to me quite a bit in this game. But on the other hand, if you choose to drop shot, one of two things will happen. One is that you'll kill the one who's looking straight at you, then you'll proceed to get a quad feed by shooting everybody else in that container, or you'll probably just get stuck with the prone blocked and honestly just get seriously annoyed. I don't know which one is more annoying to me. So in this, you must use your own judgment to figure out what's best for that situation. Now, guides won't help you through everything. You need to figure out some stuff on your own, like where to apply this knowledge that you have gained in my videos and other content creators, right? So you need your own judgment to be at least decent and be able to apply this knowledge to multiplayer, hardcore multiplayer, or even Warzone at times. Now, take every piece of advice that I gave you with a grain of salt. Not everything I say will be accurate, nor everything will I not say be absolutely true. There is no sort of right or wrong. Everything's a gray area. Now to the statistic parts. I'll now show you how many deaths, kills, and assists I got while using either one of these two different things. Now, while drop shotting, I got this many amount of kills, as I'll show you on the screen. This is my KD and my assist ratio. Seen it? Onto my jump shotting. Now this is probably noticeably much worse than my regular jump shotting, but It's hard to explain, but it honestly felt much worse than it looks. And that was mainly because I haven't jump shot in quite a long time while I was recently picking up drop shotting. I might make a future part to this video where I study more of those more intensely, like maybe 100 games, just to make sure that my results are completely accurate and won't mislead you at all. For my final conclusion, keep practicing and see what fits your playstyle the best. For me personally, I prefer the drop shot as it's much easier to execute properly, yet the jump shot is harder to master. The drop shotting works more consistently for me than jump shots do. That brings me to the end of this video, and I just wanted to appreciate that we passed 20 views on the last video. That was very unprecedented and was a very pleasant surprise for me. It seriously motivates me to be better when somebody comments or even seeing the view count or liking the video. It honestly makes me feel so much better than seeing my videos dwindle on a couple of views. Now, if you like this video, please make sure to like. If there was something that you didn't learn or was completely useless to you, don't be afraid to dislike and tell me what went wrong in the comments. Okay, now on to the clan regiment part. I'm again reminding you that I have my own clan regiment and the tag is 5M01, and I'd be happy to add anyone there. If anyone wanted to play with me, my tag will be down in the description below. If you found this video helpful at all, please consider liking and subscribing like I said before. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in a couple days. Thank you.